Bears put it in there, eaten by bears.
Well, we're live and you're singing weirdo test songs.
I mean, would you have it any other way? Do you want me to send this to you now?
No, girl, just listen to it and make sure you're not like, oh God, okay, there we go. Yay! People are already here.
Oh boy.
I am. Let me make sure that's the right link.
As far as I can tell, it's all good.
Great. All right. Postesses are sent.
Postesses, you say?
Yes. Hostesses. I don't know. Why? Don't listen to me.
Attended by ghostesses?
Yeah, why not? Okie dokie.
Oh boy, oh, baseball.
Y'all right over there?
Yes. Sorry. Just adjusting everything to my specifications.
If you guys are in the chat, will you pop over to Facebook and go like the post that we just made? That helps us thwart Facebook's algorithms and get that post in front of some people. So if you're just sitting there watching us get ready for the podcast, help us out. Go throw us a like real quick. Let's get that post in front of some people.
Yeah.
Because we have lots of fans who don't know we do a podcast, which is weird because clearly they're just not paying attention. Someone messaged us today and said, how do I listen to your podcast? And I was like,
fucking Facebook.
Are you like ground zero of podcast knowledge? Because it's pretty simple. Do I need to explain what a podcast is? Because I can do that. I just need to know where we're starting from.
That person might be watching at this very minute. We don't want to judge them too harshly.
No, I'm not shitting on him. I'm just saying, like, I don't know where we're coming from because it is a weird... Like, literally, if you have to ask how to listen to the podcast, I legitimately wonder... Do you listen to other podcasts?
I don't know where we're going, but I sure know where I've been.
Do you know where you've been?
I do, actually. I was with you like 24 hours ago. Or no.
That's
more than that.
Like 36.
Yes, there we go. That's right. Yeah.
Math is hard, guys. Math is hard.
It's a Heisenberg uncertainty principle. I can know where I was, but not how fast I was going. I can't understand where I was in time as well as where I was in space. Sorry.
Okay. All right, dudes. Is everyone's recording software open and ready to go?
Yes.
Excellent. Yep. Shall we start the recording?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. We're recording in 3, 2, 1.
Huzzah!
All right, recording. And okay, how about show notes? Does everyone have those open?
Yes.
Oh my God, it's like you're prepared or something. I don't even know who you are.
IKR.
You're a mess.
I am.
I know.
I am
but a hot mess.
That's true.
Aw, oh, that's sweet.
That's the important part.
Well, you know.
The woman who co-wrote a time travel book doesn't know ours too well. Josh is not wrong.
No, I'm a co-author, thank you.
He said co-wrote.
Marianne says, I do notice that Blythe and Marissa haven't liked the post.
Yeah.
On Facebook.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm doing too many other things.
Yeah, my brain will explode if I have to do too many of the things at the same time, and we don't want that, do we?
We don't want that, because if her brain explodes, she can't write weirdo parodies and or shows. And then where will we be?
Right? Exactly.
And propping her up on stage while she goes, yeah, is just not as funny. You think it is, but it's going to be significantly less funny after about 3 minutes.
Well, about actually 14
Right.
minutes is basically the time limit, as I discovered this weekend, but perhaps more about that later.
Okay. God bless America.
What?
No, I'm just fucking trying to get to the Facebook page to like the goddamn post so nobody calls me out anymore.
That's nice of you to do.
It's surprisingly difficult. All right, there. Are you happy now? Are you happy now?
I hope you're happy.
JK, I love you guys. All right. All right, show notes are open. Recording is happening.
Ah!
And I say we just jump right in and start this fucking thing. What do you guys think?
Okay.
All right, let's do this. Here we go. Quiet on the sets. Because there's 3 different... Don't worry about it. Okay, here we go. Hello, and welcome to episode 64 of the Dork Pridecast. My name is Blythe.
I'm Amanda.
And I'm Rissy. We make up a comedy group called the Damsels of Dorkington, and this is our podcast, which is also funny. But looks aren't everything. So, be drunk.
Yes, and merry, for drinking is good and stuff. This is not a drunk pridecast. I almost said podcast and pridecast at the same time, but it's weird because... Yeah, prodcast, I guess.
Broadcast.
It's very weird to try and combine 2 words, one of which is sort of already a play on the other.
Wait, are you drinking?
Well, I mean, I have a beer.
Well, you're a lightweight.
I've had 2 sips. I promise you, this is just my own idiocy, not alcohol.
Okay.
Amanda, what are you drinking over there?
Tea.
I was hoping it was going to be wine out of a mug.
Because it's cold.
No, it's...
Because it's cold outside, therefore she's drinking hot tea.
Oh, okay. I thought she was drinking the tea because it was cold.
Right. Understandable that you would make that jump, but...
Yeah. I'm cold, so I'm holding a mug of hot liquid to be less cold.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Apparently, you guys were hanging out like 2 days ago.
Yes.
We were.
We were gaming.
You were gaying? You were gaying?
We were gaying. Amanda has finally convinced me to gay.
Well, that took a long time, but I'm glad you got there.
Yes. So I did the gay.
How did it go for you?
I liked it just fine. female parts are tender and delicious. And that's my story of the gay.
I am not okay with any of the visual images that are happening.
Nope.
You started
Nor
this,
am
bitch.
I.
No,
You
you
brought this on
did.
yourself.
You started
No,
it by saying you were gaying.
Started it by misinterpreting willfully gaming as, because you knew we were going to be gaming together, as gaying. This is all on you. All on you. Hoist by your own petard.
Yeah, disagree. You didn't. It did not sound like you said gaming.
Especially considering that you knew what we were going to be doing while I was in Kansas City. I don't believe this, Theo. You see, Rudy, it's okay to do a bit, but you have to accept the consequences when you get the bad images in your mind, Theo.
Yeah, disagree.
Oh, that happened.
Well, I am sorry to everyone who I am quite certain we have already offended in the first 5 minutes of the podcast.
Oh, whatever.
I promise Rissy will not do her Cosby impression for at least 2 episodes from now.
You can promise nothing. I do what I want. You don't know my life.
I can make promises. Whether or not they are kept are not necessarily on me. I'll do my best, but
That's
everyone
true.
knows I cannot truly wrangle a Rissy.
I mean, you do better than most.
Nobody can.
Exactly. All I can do
Better-
is try.
And besides, I think it really is only not okay to do Cosby impressions if you were also going to make a rape joke at the same time. That would not be okay.
I mean, I feel like that's kind of the only Cosby impressions you can do now. Is like if we're gonna conjure his image, then we need to also acknowledge the awfulness.
I mean, I don't know. I think
I know there's a lot of blurred lines there. All
a
over,
lot of blurred lines, you say.
which is also
Oh, Jesus
pretty
Christ.
rapey.
Right, yes. Thanks. You just digging that hole, digging it deeper.
No, I'm just conflating things that are related.
Are conflatable.
Mm-hmm. Hi. How's everyone doing?
My ankle still hurts.
Your
I had fun gaming.
Oh,
I mean, it's got to take some time to repair it. It's been a puffy monster foot for, slightly over a week.
I'm disappointed that we don't have pictures.
If I sent you pictures, you'd start puking or fainting.
I don't puke, I faint, but swollenness does not make one pass out. This one specifically.
This one, are you like from Game of Thrones, like from one of the island kingdoms way to the south? This one does not.
This one
does not pass out from puffiness, only
this one-
from goriness.
does not puke. This one merely faints, loses
Faints.
consciousness.
Vasovagal syncope triggers only fainting, Khaleesi. It is known.
Technically, vasovagal syncope is the fainting, so it doesn't really trigger itself. But yeah, I'm with you.
Hey, Rissy, I think
Yes.
Blythe just mansplained vasovagal.
I didn't-
Why are you always mansplaining to me?
I didn't mansplain shit. I just well-actually'd her without saying the words well actually.
No. See, I got Amanda in on a fun game. That started at ValleyCon, the convention in North Dakota I was at for the first part of this last weekend, where simply anytime somebody in our small friend group would start to explain something and it had even a whiff of pedantry about it, or even if it didn't, we'd be like, "Why are you mansplaining? Did you just mansplain Blythe to me?" Because it was funny. Probably because the two people involved are some of the least mansplaining of all time. One being a nice guy, and not a nice guy trademark, but an actual nice guy. And one being Lunatic's co-author, Ivory Kirk. So we're constantly accusing each other of mansplainery all fucking weekend. And then we roped Amanda into it as well. So you actually, by that definition, you were in fact mansplaining. Sorry, Blythe. I just mansplained. I mansplained the game to you.
It's a shitty definition.
But it's a game. It's fun. You can play too.
You see, mansplaining actually means when
mansplaining. Also, it's every time somebody says "you see," it like it's got that Cosby tinge to it.
No.
He's in there, Blythe. He's in your mouth.
He's not. I assure you.
Or in your brain. I don't know which one would be worse necessarily, depending on context.
I don't know if that's better or worse.
Let's ask Amanda a question about stuff.
Yes, Amanda, tell us about stuff.
That wasn't a question. That
I know.
was a demand, and I don't respond well to demands.
That's not what I've heard.
You're right. That's not what you've heard. People tell lies about me.
It's written on the bathroom
I'm
stalls.
actually very stubborn. Yeah, that was from Rissy.
Yes,
because I wouldn't do all the gay stuff with her that she wanted.
I wanted to do so much gayness.
You have to draw the line somewhere.
No,
I know.
I should have been able to peg her with the double dragon dong from Bad Dragon.
Is it still pegging if it's two women? That's a legitimate question.
Well, I think maybe if you've got you're doing kind of the equivalent of the shocker with your strap-ons. Like if you've got one in the vajayjay, it's just strap-on use, but also one in the ass. I think that could be classified as pegging.
Well, my question is if you're giving it to another woman in the ass specifically.
Right.
Because that's what pegging is. It's just usually on a male. But if you're doing the same act to a woman, regardless of what is or is not in her vagina, would that still fall under pegging? Or does it have to be someone who has a penis?
I actually don't know on that one. Like, it's perhaps, I suspect that scholars have been fighting about this for a long time. Like, at least since the concordance of worms back in 319 AD, people have been arguing about this shit, what actually constitutes pegging. So, I mean, present your case.
Present it now?
No.
Yes.
Nope.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I just did.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna need you to cite some sources.
Deadpool? Okay, all right. If you want to weigh in, please tweet at us and use the hashtag Dork Pride Chat.
Yes, please do tweet at us about pegging, about lady strap-on usage.
One more question. If a man is using a strap-on and putting it up someone's butt, is that also pegging?
Does he have a dick or did it fall off?
Well, I mean, it could be either way because you can't identify as a man and not have a penis.
That's quite true, yes.
But for this argument's sake, let's say it's a man who identifies as a man and does also have a penis.
Ooh, that's a toughie.
He's like tucked it and rolled it and put a strap-on on. So it's not actually his dick
maybe his dick sucks. Maybe it's not a great dick.
That's
true.
That's true.
And for his partner's satisfaction, he's willing to bust out yield strap-on.
Is that still pegging?
According to Urban Dictionary, who is, of course, the authority on all such things, it is only pegging when a woman is doing it to a man.
Oh, wow. Okay. So what do you call
really
it specifically? Yeah.
Well, it's because it says that it specifically is referring to like heterosexual anal sex, but reversed. So that the woman is fucking the guy in the ass instead of the other way around. But it's specifically meant to reference heterosexual anal. But
so, okay, since jacking off...
or it could also be when a pirate sticks his peg leg
Oh, well,
into
obviously.
somebody's back. And in that case, I assume there are no gender requirements.
Really,
you could.
If you're sticking your peg leg into any hole, I think it should be called pegging.
What about master splintering?
Yeah, I agree.
Oh God,
that sounds painful.
Anything splintering.
Yeah.
So since jacking off is called
can never be
jilling
good.
off when women do it, should
It's not, though.
peg it? Well, I mean, let's for the sake of argument. So when women, if women, like, could pegging another woman be called jegging?
I guess, but that would get real confusing when I go to buy leggings that look like jeans.
I know, that's why it would be so much fun. Like, I'd like one jegging, please. Several hours and a trip to the emergency room later.
Oh man. Well, this is a good start to the podcast.
Yes.
Yep.
An extensive conversation about pegging. So if that's what you come here for, then you're welcome. And if that's not what you came here for, then you probably turned this off at least 10 minutes ago.
Also, why would anybody, I wonder, who's a fan of ours not want to know about jegging?
This thing you made up?
Yes, I'm totally calling it now forever.
Okay. Put it in urbandictionary.com so then at least it's real.
Oh, I should do that, actually.
But you have to put a reference to the Damsels of Dorkington in it.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Hi guys. Does anyone have Damsel news? Because I sure as fuck don't.
I don't.
No.
Amanda and I gamed together recently. That's pretty.
That's not Damsel news, bish.
And then we went to a tea room and had fancy cake.
Did you have like little like sandwiches?
No, it was real foods, but they had like little tea cakes for dessert.
Yes, they were so good.
Fancy, delicious cakes.
Have either of you ever done like a full like tea service where they do like all like multiple different types of like little finger sandwiches?
Oh, like cucumber sandwiches?
I had a friend that did a full like tea thing for the season finale or series finale or whatever the fuck it was for Downton Abbey. We had like a full tea. So we had all the cute little finger sandwiches and yeah.
It's
it
weird.
Delightful.
It's really fun. And you could honestly, Rissy, you can probably find a tea room in Chicago somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
It's a little pricey, but it's really worth it for the experience.
Now, do you have to dress up like you're going to the Kentucky Derby?
I mean, you don't have to. The time that I did it, I did not. But yeah, you definitely don't have to. But it's pretty great, and it's very much like, oh, it feels so fancy.
Actually, that does sound like a lot of fun.
It is, and you think, oh, I'm not going to fill up on this stuff, but they bring you so much if you do like the full tea service. Your ass will not be able to consume anymore. And there's like all these
Challenge
fancy
accepted
jams and jellies and like scones, and then
oh god, I love scones. I will fuck up a scone.
Right? And sandwiches with like cream cheese and cucumber on them, and it's just like, oh my god, I'm in heaven.
Speaking of scones, if any of our watchers/listeners are in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, I highly recommend the Cafe Latte, which is a coffee house that has some of the most amazeballs scones I've ever tasted. There's like English currant scones. Their texture is so amazing and good. And then they serve them with creme fraiche and these berry preserves.
That sounds amazing.
Yep.
We should go there.
Also, many fine cakes, which Luna and Ivory brought to the gaming session. And then, of course, Luna had to leave so I could step in and game. But that cake came from Cafe Latte as well.
Well, there you go. So if anybody goes there,
right,
we want to hear about it. Tell us if Rissy is right, because Amanda and I don't trust her. We need you to verify.
Oh, man. Josh says one of these days we should do a guest spot like we used to and get Sex Nerd Sandra in here.
It's Sandra, but
Sandra, whatever.
I haven't listened to that podcast in a long time, but she's pretty great and hilarious and nerdy. I would shit my pants if we were able to get her, but
one never knows.
I'm just saying, we'll see. Tom
Silk just said something that I totally agree with, and that is that scones should be served with clotted cream rather than creme fraiche.
Creme fraiche was amazing. I guess if the clotted cream tastes better, that's one thing, but I don't know.
I don't know if I've ever even heard of clotted cream, let alone consumed it.
The fact that it has the word clotted in it does not sound good.
Yeah, but I'm kind of like, cheese curds.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cheese curds
but it's not
sound awful, but taste amazing. So.
But okay.
It's not actually clotted. It's more
congealed.
Yeah, and it's not like as sweet as it's more of a cream cheese almost texture. It's.
I mean, have you had creme fraiche?
Yeah, it's just.
Who hasn't had creme fraiche?
Yes.
Okay, well, just making sure. Actually, you know what I would love to try?
I've had both.
Is split the difference and try mascarpone on a scone. Mascarpone on a scone. Mascarpone on a scone. Yes. I fucking love mascarpone.
Why not?
Like fancy Trader Joe's cookie cracker things with some lemon curd and mascarpone. Like, yeah.
I feel like we should have a bonus podcast where we all just sit around and eat everything we've just talked about.
Oh God, you know what we should have as a crazy, maybe a thing for the Kickstarter, that like we'll come to you and do a fancy high tea. We'll all sit around and eat tiny sandwiches and scones and shit. High tea with the damsels. We'll go to a fancy fucking place.
Oh my God,
and pollute it with our awfulness.
I would legit love that.
Wouldn't that be fucking amazing?
You don't even know.
Oh fuck. We could all wear top hats.
It was Rissy and Melissa and I, and we were at the tea place, and it is a very like kind of fancy place, and we're talking about our gaming campaign and like the events that had just happened the night before. And so it was, I'm sure anybody walking past is like, what the fuck are they talking about? Because it was just like getting into like had kind of found out some interesting things about each other in the last role-playing session. So we were all kind of like excited to talk about things, and but it's like we're sitting here at this very fancy place and talking about a warlock who killed a bunch of people, and
we also prefaced the D&D talk. We prefaced it with discussions of our sexual preferences, and just as the waiter was approaching our table for the first time, I believe the words that came out of my mouth were, I mean, I'd suck a dick for hours. Thankfully, he didn't appear to have heard it.
Maybe he was just being polite. That's literally his job.
That's true, I guess, but normally there'd be some kind of flicker of recognition and...
Only if you're not good at your job.
I don't know, man. Like, micro expressions are real hard to control.
That's true. That is very true.
He had quite an elegant mustache, though.
Oh, so fancy.
I know, right? It was like a little thing. Like, not a big, like, cowboy handlebar, but just like a nice little curled up one. And these round spectacles, I'm like, were you made in a holodeck? Is that where we are? Being all fancy up in here?
Being all fancy? Why did you
Being all fancy?
The hickest accent when you said that.
That's what's fancy to Rissy, apparently.
Cowboys.
Cowboys. The fanciest cowboys.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Amanda, do you want to talk more about our characters?
Hey, if you guys want to talk D&D, the people want to hear it. You talk about your campaign and shit.
Yes.
We had basically like a big bad show up who was somebody from my character's past that worked in really, really well to also overlap with a story going on with Melissa's character. So it's it's just really cool when you have one of those things where like everyone's really highly invested, and it's not just a, hey, this guy did some bad stuff and we're going to stop him, or these people want us to go find the treasure, we're going to go find it. But yeah, basically this guy came in who my character was like, yeah, he's a bad guy. He's real bad. And nobody really believed her. And then he murdered a bunch of people. And then they're all like, oh, maybe he is really bad. So
the GM is really good at gaslighting us.
Yeah.
He really is, because, like, you'll hear from one of the player characters, oh, I left home because my relationship with my ex-parent was not very good, or they did this awful thing, and then you meet them, and you're like, oh, wow, well, now I'm starting to wonder if the plot thread is that this was all just a big misunderstanding when they left home, and now there'll be a happy reunion, because this NPC is being so nice and sweet, and then at one point they just fucking turn on a dime and they're like some crazy ass narcissistic abuser type, and you're like, it's not lies.
So there you go.
In the case of the big bad, he did his face heel turn while slitting somebody's throat. The bartender who was serving us a round of drinks.
What was the line that he used?
You know, I just want you guys to know that there's no hard feelings. I'm not nearly as bad as.
Oh yeah, and my character is not there at the time, so
yeah, her character's not there. And her. Can we tell them your character's name? Okay. So
no, it's a secret.
What? It's Tabitha, isn't it?
No.
Just curious. A gross name.
Nope.
No, I'm just kidding.
That's a gross name, Amanda.
No, Amanda's character's name is Kasira, and so the big bad, who's thus far seemed very reasonable, very charming and affable, he's like, I just want you guys to know that I'm not nearly, you know, as bad as Kasira has made me out to be. I'm much worse. Throat slit. Blood. Uses blood as scrying pool into Melissa's character's family's house where they're all fucking dead.
So, you know, a little drama.
It was good times, man.
It sounds like good times.
Yeah, that was so great. Yeah. I'm like, how long has our GM had that moment in his head, like waiting for that shit to go down? To where we all just go.
Josh asked. Yeah, Josh asked if I'm still a tiefling child, or is fixing that not a priority since it adds to the humor? I mean, it does. It makes it kind of fun, but also we were in hell for a while and then just got back and haven't really been anywhere where we could go to fix that. So
yeah, that
if we ever get 11? To a big city.
Yep.
Yeah, 11.
Hilariously enough, not only is she 11, but due to our time spent in the Feywild and in hell, 10 years have passed in the regular world, but not for us. It's effectively been, like, what was it, 3 months? So all of us, like, not only is she, you know, de-aged, but ostensibly, if she'd been in the real world, she would have re-aged back to her normal point.
Yes. So I'm now, like, 20 years younger than I should be. Yeah.
That sounds like fun.
Yes, yeah. Basically, our characters got out of hell, and we were like, oh, there's a city. Let's go check out that city. What city is that? My character turns into a bat and flies there and finds out that it's Baldur's Gate. Oh, also, there's, like, a giant army surrounding it. And this is a direct result of something we did 10 years ago, which is how long this giant army has been fucking percolating. So, yeah, we were like, oh, shit. What year is it? You do the thing where, like, you know, it's code for, hey, people come lock me up in a padded cell. Like, this is going to sound crazy, but what's the date? Yeah, it's just been a rampaging carousel of craziness since we left hell.
Still like rampaging craziness?
Yeah, I mean, yes.
It seems like once you leave that place, things would settle down, but apparently not.
You would think so, yeah. Oh, man, high tea D&D is a suggestion from.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'd be down for that.
I'd play some D&D while eating some fancy sandwiches and cake.
Oh, God, I'd wear a crazy hat.
Oh, John Latch says Gen Con 51. We could totally, for our patron party, have like a fucking high tea patron party.
It'd have to be a boozy high tea.
Well, I mean, duh. Who are you talking to?
Well, yeah. But, oh, God. Well, what do you think, guys? Those of you who are our patrons, do let us know if you find that idea appealing. If you'd like to sit around with pinkies raised and eating cucumber sandwiches while we peg you. Wait,
while we peg you.
While we peg you.
Hey, Blythe, did you do anything this weekend? Anything interesting or life-changing or anything like that?
No, I just slept for most of the weekend.
No? Yeah?
No.
You didn't leave the house at all?
I did, actually.
Not even once?
What
did you go do?
I did leave the house and I went on a little hike.
Aww.
With Sean and 4 of our friends.
You guys have a fight club, right?
Yeah. No, Rissy, that's only in your head. Remember, Amanda and I are just creations of your own mind.
Right, it's true.
I'm
the only person who exists.
That's true. Literally, the universe is you. Explains so much.
God, this is like the best.
So we hiked to this little spot that our friends knew of. It's a little pond with a little, I don't know, it wasn't a gazebo, but just like a little platform with benches and then over things, so there was some shade. And then we got married. Not all of us, just me and Sean.
No, it was all of you. Like, don't lie. You had a communal marriage and then an orgy. It's okay. No judgment.
We did make jokes about that later because some of our sets of friends hadn't met each other. And when we found out they got along and had kind of a lot in common,
oh boy.
I was like, yes, it's working. And Sean was like, finally, we can start our commune. And they were like, what? And we were like, what? Nothing. What? No. And we found out we have like 10 cats between all of us.
So already you've got all the kids you need. Instant family.
Anyway, so yeah, just quick and dirty, just how I like it. Family was not involved. Most of the family had no issue with that, which is great. There was one family member who was not thrilled about not being a part of it, but surprise.
Your dad didn't want to show up.
What'd you say, Rissy?
I said, I can't believe your dad didn't want to show up naked and wag his dick at people while walking you down the aisle.
I'm sure he did want that, but that's why I didn't invite him.
Right. Right.
That's exactly
because that is what he would have done.
I'd like to think I know your dad decently well.
He would have worn pants, but he would have hidden that they were Velcro pants. And then he would have ripped them off when there was nothing I could do about it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Actually.
So, Sean and I played some music, and our friend got ordained online to do it, and he said some words, and we exchanged some rings, and it was all done, even with 2 songs we bookended with music, 15 minutes, even including the songs. Done.
Oh, man. That's the sweet spot. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was great, and it's done, and I don't ever have to stress about all of it. So I am very happy that we did it this way. So
I think a lot more people are doing the kind of effectively an elopement these days, because people are sick of the wedding industrial complex and don't have the money. Amusingly,
I just an article just turned up this week about this woman tried to recreate her parents' wedding from like 1974 to see what it would cost now.
Were her parents dead? Did she try to raise them from the grave like a necromancer?
No.
Well, then I don't see the point.
But yeah, it was crazy. They spent like $2,000, which if you if you work in the inflation, it would be $10,000 in today's money. And so
which for a wedding is on the cheap end, unfortunately.
That is on the cheap end.
Like, I know so many people that spend 10 times that much.
We may have attended such a wedding together, Amanda and I.
Yeah, yes, we did.
And it was great.
Yeah, it was really interesting because the $10,000 wedding back in the 70s, they still had like 300 guests.
Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. And so she did all this, she got all the quotes, and it was like $70,000 wedding.
Shit, fire.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I avoided all that bullshit because it's all bullshit.
Well, the nice thing about my wedding is that, to my knowledge, bears are free. So the ones we'll be riding around won't cost anything.
Especially if they maul one of your guests.
Yes.
/ bridal party.
Yes.
Shit, that's the plan. Fuck.
Wait, I'm that weekend. What? You haven't set a date yet?
Damn it.
I'm busy all weekends.
all weekends forever.
Forever.
Nice try. It's bear time.
So
yeah. I mean, are they trained bears? Because if they're trained bears, then they might be expensive.
No,
but if you're just going to try to like...
Oh, no, she's going to try and wrangle real, live, feral bears.
Yeah.
Feral bears.
As opposed to domesticated bears.
Yes.
Oh, wouldn't that be a fun version of the Silver Foxes Project? Because, of course, not only do you have to spend fucking 50 years domesticating a species by selecting only the ones that respond favorably to humans, and breeding them to each other, but you have to do it in reverse as a control. So you have to create like a dire bear, in effect, the most aggressive, vicious ones. So you win in both directions.
I don't
dire
think
bears, domesticated bears.
No, I think these are both bad ideas. Let's just leave the bears alone.
Good luck with that.
Let them shit in the woods or whatever it is that they do. And just...
If a bear shits in the woods and no one's there to smell it.
Yeah. Well, wouldn't the bear smell its own shit, though?
No. They're too stupid.
Are you mansplaining
Maybe it
bear
has a
shits
cold.
to me?
No, I'm not
I think you're mansplaining bear shits to us.
You asked the question and I answered it.
That was mansplaining.
Oh my god. Oh, fuck all y'all.
What songs did you sing, Blythe, or do you not want to tell us?
No,
it's okay.
No, we worked up a couple different songs. One of them is it's by Christina Perri and Jason Mraz.
Mraz.
And it's called Distance. Not super well known, but I really like it. And my favorite part is like the bridge right in the middle has some really, really cool harmonies. And so I was like, yes, this one, we're singing it. And then there's another song called The Wind and the Storm, I think is what it's called, but it's by a band called Serin. Unfortunately, they no longer exist.
Oh. But
they have these amazing like 3 and 4 part harmonies. And so Sean and I are, of course, obsessed with them. So we really wanted to work one of their songs in. And they don't do a lot of like love songs, but we were like, I don't care. Fuck it. Let's do it anyway. So
that's awesome. That sounds great. And, you know, I will say, I think Mraz is much better at duets. Like, I like his duets that I've heard much more than I like his individual songs.
Yeah, I like Jason Mraz, but I do also like his duets. Speaking of Jason Mraz, he is apparently going to do like a 10-week run on Broadway as the male lead in Waitress. And Jesus Christ, I wish I could get to New York and see that. I would fucking kill to see Jason Mraz in that. I wish I had seen it when Sarah Bareilles was playing the female lead.
Yeah.
I think if you would kill to do it, then you could become a contract killer who's paid in Broadway tickets.
But then she'd just pass out.
Yeah,
and, like,
I would get caught really quickly because I would be incapacitated.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to kill them in such a way that there's blood.
Just thinking about it would probably set me
I think that's probably one of the worst job options for Blythe.
Wait, what about like Steven Seagal style neck snappery.
Okay, nope. The minute I hear it, let alone feel it.
Sound. Okay.
I can't even smash bugs because it like when I feel the exoskeleton, I'm just like, I can't. So no.
You would have not enjoyed the very juicy cockroach here at the hospital that I killed.
That's gross. Real gross.
He probably had a lot of milk. That's so scientists were trying to use cockroach milk to replace dairy as a viable option.
What?
Yep.
Is that a thing you can only get from dead cockroaches, or can you literally milk a cockroach?
I mean, that part I don't know. I've only seen the term.
Cockroaches definitely don't have mammary glands.
Well,
so
no,
you
but
can't
they're just referring to a substance as cockroach milk. Maybe it's their lymph bugs. A lot of bugs have lymph. But I don't know. Either way, that's our future, ladies and gentlemen.
No, it's not.
Cockroach milk. Just suckling from the teats of cockroaches.
Absolutely not.
They don't have teats. Nope.
They're metaphorical teats. It's probably like
it's
some kind of vents.
Nope.
Or vents on their sides where they breathe in.
God. Oh, so gross. Did you guys, Rissy, do you want to talk about the convention at all?
Oh, sure. Oh, man. Drama.
So, I love drama.
Oh, yeah. So it was fine. We Lunatic and Ivory Kirk and their friend Oscar Shaheen, who writes pirate historical figures, since the two of them write time travel erotic comedy called Time Bangers, they hosted the Pirate Bangers Party, which ran from about 8 p.m. until 6 a.m. And generally is widely regarded as one of the better parties at ValleyCon, which is a nice little convention in Fargo, North Dakota. Actually, Fargo's not a bad place, and ValleyCon it's not huge by any stretch of the imagination, but it's been around for a while. And the only thing that might have marred this otherwise lovely experience is, do you guys remember Shape of You, Idiot Guy?
Yes, of course we do.
Okay, so after I took him to the woodshed, Shape of You Guy unfriended me on Facebook.
Just a quick refresher, took him to the woodshed over Christopher Columbus.
Over Christopher Columbus, yes. Not the Shape of You.
Right, this was after he had said this song reminds me of you, and then backpedaled when she said, I have a boyfriend.
Yeah, furiously backpedaling. He's like, oh, I knew that. I just didn't pay attention to the lyrics of the song, and that's why I said it reminded me of you.
Jeez, you took it wrong. Like, he was just being very innocent.
Yeah, this is on you, bitch.
Clearly you're a stuck-up bitch because you just think everything's about you. Like when he sends you the lyrics to a song that says, I like your sexy bod, let's do it.
Right. I like them things.
Yeah. You shouldn't read anything into that.
All right, so what happened? I'm dying to know.
Okay. So in like the first 30 minutes that I'm there,
holy shit.
We had a little table, not in the dealer's hall, but you can get artist tables that don't require you to be there at a certain point in the morning. It's a way better idea than what we did last year, which was try to have a dealer's booth and run this fucking party. And we died, and more clones had to come out of the tanks to replace us. Yeah, that was foolhardy. So anyway, standing right by the table, and Shape of You Idiot comes right up to me. And I'd forgotten he's really fucking tall. He's like 6'4".
Oh.
Yeah, and he just gets right up in my grill, and he's like, hi, with a big smile. And I'm like, what are you doing here? He's like, well...
This isn't the convention he runs, is it?
No, thank God, no.
Surprised that he's even there.
I wasn't surprised that he was at the convention. No,
but you were surprised he was.
Yeah, and I knew he was going to be at the convention because I knew he was running a party room. That's another thing I asked him not to do, was quit fucking tagging me in his pictures of his fucking Stargate party, because Like, I'm like, dude, I'm running a party room. And the thing about the party rooms there is that they actually compete for votes as to like which was the best party. So it's like, I'm not only running a party room, I'm running a competing party room, and you are tagging me in shit about your fucking party room. And in every weird post about how your party room will salute the troops or some shit.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, and I'm like, please just fucking quit it, would you? And he was like, oh, well, I always tag my friends. And I'm like, stop it. This was actually in the middle of Shape of You and Columbus incident.
Of course.
And I'm like, so he clearly thinks that everything's just fucking A-okay because the internet isn't real life. And I, on the other hand, I know some people are that way. Like, he's a great guy in person, but online, he kind of lets his shit get away from him. I never say anything online that I wouldn't say directly to somebody's face, which is why I proceeded to repeat pretty much all the things that I said to him online directly into his face with an added helping of, oh, by the way, that shit you pulled with the Ed Sheeran song and the furious backpedaling was so not okay. And I pointed out,
but it lent itself to some good podcasting material. So
yeah,
really,
I'm really glad it did.
I intend to cockroach milk this thing for all it's worth. And yeah, and he was like, he just didn't get it. That I'm like, dude, you unfriended me. He was like, I don't see why that has to mean anything. I mean, it's just you guys with this world you've created on the internet. I'm like, oh, who's you guys? He's like, I'm like, I'm neither plural nor a man, so I'd like to know who you guys are. Like, and it was mostly just,
what do you mean, you people?
It's, yeah, I was like, I'm not letting you say a single awkward thing without jumping on your ass about it, my not friend, which is also how I referred to him.
Go on.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, he was doing the exact same shit as he did online, which is to say, double down no matter how little it makes sense. And he just was unwilling, as much as he was unwilling to get the fuck off my page to praise Columbus. When I said so twice, that I'm like, do whatever you want, don't do it on my goddamn Facebook wall, he was equally unwilling to accept, I guess, that we weren't friends. And so it did get really awkward and it was fairly unprofessional. So Ivory and Oscar were like, hey, you guys, you know, don't do this at our table. I'm like, I'm so, yeah, they're right. I'm sorry, you guys. And then I was like, you should leave. Not the con, because I don't have that power, but you should leave. And so he turned and stomped off, and I heard him over say, I was just trying to be a decent human being. I'm like, if you were trying to be a decent human being, you'd never have fucking approached me, you sack of shit.
Yeah, that.
Like, I'm fully prepared to be, like, civil, like, just pass each other in the hallways. Like, right. I'm not gonna start shit. But then he just marched right the fuck up to me and was like, hi, here I am with my 75 IQ and my shit-eating grin.
Yeah, my favorite game to play with situations like that is the You're Dead to Me game. I just pretend you're not there and you pretend that I'm not there and we're both happier just in our lives and it's better.
Yeah, he was not gonna do that. Like, that was definitely not in the cards. Like,
well, I'm sorry that you had that experience, but I'm also glad that you said that shit to his face and didn't just let him slide on in and still be friendly to him, because he doesn't deserve that.
No, he doesn't. He deserves to know that I fucking hate his ass, which I would happily set on fire and then shoot into the sun.
For sure. But it's sometimes hard to, when it is face to face, it's sometimes hard to like stick to your guns rather than just being like, hey, how are you? Which is sometimes just easier and you don't have to deal with the confrontation. And I mean, I've definitely done that in the past, so.
Oh, me too. And, but I also realized that some of like the greatest moments of like closure and satisfaction in my life have been when I actually did like fucking throw down and be like, I hate you, literally in one instance with the flipping off. Like, it just really feels good to tell someone else that they're a moldy crap sack and that you hate them.
You're not wrong. I've had a few moments like that at the Renaissance Festival where I've straight snubbed people, and then I've walked away feeling like a fucking $1,000,000 and I just don't care.
Right, exactly. It's one of those, like, you shouldn't burn bridges, and I'm like, I don't care about any bridges with this rando from North Dakota.
When I burn a bridge, I have assessed the bridge and decided it's not worth keeping. It's cool.
Exactly.
I'll see for the fuck out of this bridge. Thank you very much.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I'm like, you know what? Based on his previous behavior, which was pretty creepy, I wouldn't want there to be a bridge even of civility. Oh, no. Oh, my, no. Like,
yeah, you just don't want to be associated with those people.
Yeah, no, not even remotely in the slightest. Those people, you guys in this world you've created on the internet. I'm like, oh, I actually said, I'm like, am I some kind of wizard? Can I create a pocket dimension? Are we in Ravenloft? Like, I went full, like, finger snapping crazy. Like, so
you know that he probably had most of these lines, like, planned,
right.
and you did not respond at all the way he was expecting, I'm sure,
So
for
true.
any of it. So you just, like, totally threw him off. So that's obviously your fault. Like, the conversation would have gone better if you had just known your place and been a proper lady.
Right.
Which, and if he expected that, then you're definitely not friends because he doesn't know you at all. So.
I mean, that's how I feel in general about Rissy as well. If she would just know her place and respect.
Lol.
I mean, yes.
And I get why it's important to, you know, try and de-escalate situations and achieve, like, peaceful stuff, but even though oftentimes it makes you feel, like, gross on the inside, like, much the same way I feel if I had to take any opioid painkillers, which I really detest. Like, I feel like I need to bathe my insides and scour them with sand. But in some situations, in very specific situations, I heartily endorse just full-on giving both barrels to somebody verbally, obviously, not literally. Yeah, it was fun, and I'm glad I did it.
I have been able to do that over email, but if, like, the couple of times I've tried doing that sort of thing in person, I will immediately then have to go cry because I feel so bad about the whole confrontation thing because I'm so bad at it. And it's like, even if I know that it's deserved and actually probably better for everyone, it's still very traumatic. So I tend to do I will at least pretend that you're dead. Even if you're paying attention to me, I will not make eye contact and go out of my way to avoid. Because that's the mature way to deal with shit, right?
I think, like...
No? Oh, okay.
He, like, walked past me.
I just want to say, that's just a coping mechanism. And while maybe it's not the best way ultimately to deal with things, for some of us, or in certain scenarios, that is what we need to do to protect ourselves, and that's okay too. So don't beat yourself up about that. Sorry, Rissy, go on.
Oh, no, I was going to say, like, I think, like, he passed me and made eye contact, and I did the whole, like, small smile thing. Like,
that was, Rissy, this is totally on you. This is your fault.
Well, but it was clear that it wasn't a Duchesne smile.
No.
Also, what were you wearing? Because you probably were asking.
I was totally skanked out, like, at the time when I was prepping for a party.
You were literally begging for it.
I was. Well, I'm a frigid cock tease, and that's what got me into this entire mess.
That's what we've always said about you.
The thing is, you know, I would normally feel bad about a confrontation if it weren't for the fact that he was such an asshole that he couldn't quit digging in. Yeah. It's one of those, like, if I see that they're genuinely hurt, I'll be like, well, maybe you were just a serious asshole and you need therapy. But in this instance, I'm like, okay, you actually want to fight. Maybe you would benefit from therapy, but you'd benefit more from my foot in your ass.
And, like, I get that. And, like, it's not even a matter of not thinking that the other person doesn't deserve it or whatever. It's just the stress of the actual confrontation itself.
Oh yeah, this is one of very few times in my life where I've had, first of all, you kind of have to be in a low stakes environment. Like you don't want to be doing this in front of, you know, your future boss if you're interviewing for a job and someone you hate walks right by you. You know, there's plenty of places where that would not be appropriate. But all of the times I was able to actually deliver a very satisfying verbal smackdown to somebody was all a very kind of neutral ground sort of thing.
Sure.
And it was delicious.
It sounds pretty delicious. I am satisfied.
I came back home and he blocked me.
It's so funny because if you're not friends, then like it's totally unnecessary. But he just needed to have that last say. We've been experiencing that a lot. And I just want to say real quick, guys, if you're out there thinking, I'm gonna have my say, I'm gonna make some passive aggressive statement at someone, you need to really consider, is this going to look the way that I want it to? Or am I just going to look sad and pathetic? Because that guy definitely just sad and pathetic, and like he needed to have his say and it wasn't a say at all.
It was a terrible heap of illogic.
Yeah, for sure. But that's happened in a couple different scenarios in this group lately where it's just like, I don't think you're getting the digs in that you think you are, buddy. I don't think that's a thing. I think you're just being sad and pathetic.
The self-own has been rather prevalent as of late. I mean, I do love a good self-own. Like, I mean, nothing will ever top that Flat Earth Society announcing it had members all over the globe on Twitter.
I did not see that.
Oh my, yes. Yeah, I think there's no such thing as a self-own that will be better than that one. But there can be many close second place to finishes or finalists, that sort of thing. So yeah, it's like, don't be one of those people. Don't do it.
That is beautiful. And I think it is a nice segue into this week's Dork Pride chat. Rissy, would you like to do us the honor?
Oh, yes. And speaking of honor, so this week's Dork Pride chat is in honor of Shape of You, Idiot. What's the dumbest thing you've ever done at a convention? This can be many forms of stupids. You know, whether it was getting drunk and getting lost and winding up in a train yard, as happened to someone I know's brother. Yeah, like first Gen Con ever proceeds to drink himself into a stupor and winds up in an industrial complex of some kind and has to be driven back to the hotel by the police. Unfortunately, didn't really remember the hotel he was in. Made it back eventually. Like, so it could be that kind of stupid, or it could be engaging an angry woman, who has no qualms about saying internet words to your face. That could also be that. So yes, the dumbest thing that you've ever done at a con. And if you haven't been to a con, the dumbest thing you've ever done is not go to a con because they're so fucking great.
Rissy, you have to start us out.
Oh.
Why do we have to tell you every time? And why do you act surprised every time?
Well, you guys are only creations of my own imagination, so I forget certain things about you. Like,
touche, madam, touche.
God, I've been going to conventions for so long. What's the dumbest thing? I know exactly what the dumbest thing I've ever done at a convention is. And some of you may have heard this story. Picture it. Kansas City, 2004. So I went to Conquest in Kansas City, and specifically to get, or was it 2005? Either way, it was the year that George R. R. Martin, A Feast for Crows, the fourth book in the Song of Ice and Fire novels, was released. And George R. R. Martin was in Kansas City at Conquest, and so, like, I could go and meet him and shit. So, and listen to him do a reading, all that sort of stuff, get my book, get it signed. The night he was doing his reading on Saturday, and Friday night Conquest, like many smaller Midwestern cons, Conquest has the tradition of throwing room parties, which is to say you go through the con and say, hi, I would like to use my hotel room to throw a party. And they're like, okay, don't murder anyone. And sure, here are some rules. You have to card. But yeah, so room parties, they can be themed. They may be game playing. They may have stripper poles. They probably have booze. But yeah, so Conquest has these room parties, and so you can just wander up and down the block of the hotel rooms that have been reserved and take in the ambiance and take in some booze and maybe lower your inhibitions to the extent that when you're in one room party and you see an older gentleman wearing a fisherman's cap and a t-shirt that had the heraldry of House Stark on it, and you assume that he's another George R.R. Martin fan, just like you are. And the thing is, because it's not like the TV show is a thing yet, and you haven't seen that many t-shirts for Game of Thrones, you think it's so awesome that you point at him and bellow from across the room, beer in hand, "Yo, what up, Stark? What?" And then he comes over and shakes your hand and says, "Hi, I'm George R.R. Martin."
Rissy, do you want to talk about the time that you accused someone of being a chronic masturbator and then found out who they were?
Oh yeah, it was
a very related story.
Yeah, super. Yeah. Except she wasn't insulting George R.R. Martin, at least.
That's true. So yeah, that was at, God, what Gen Con was it? Was that 2009, 2010?
We were with Danielle, so it was our first one.
Yeah, and so God. Yes, yeah, no, you're right. So that would have been 2010. Yeah. I think. Yeah. So we're at one of the hotel bars and we're talking to this guy, and I make a joke about him having hairy palms and therefore being a chronic masturbator. And then he turns to me and shakes my hand and he's like, "Hi, I'm Bob Salvatore." And I'm like, "You're
Yep.
I called the creator of Dristo and a chronic masturbator to his face.
I mean, you probably weren't wrong.
Yeah, I mean, Lord knows, based on the last, 20 Drist books or so, it's pretty clear that his writing method is just... I pulled out my headphone when I did that.
That was good, though. I liked it.
So yeah, I have a knack for interacting with authors at conventions. So those are some dumb things I've done at the convention. How about you guys?
Amanda, do you have anything? Because I definitely have. Okay. Well, okay. I'm not going to tell the story because I've definitely told it like more than once and will probably continue to tell it. So I'm going to give the short version because everybody already knows it. But probably the dumbest thing I've ever done at a convention is sweet talk Richard Hatch into coming to our show and then pulling him up on stage with his permission and then calling him Robert for the next 5 minutes. But like I said, everybody already knows that story. And if you don't,
that's true.
Well, you're just going to have to wait until we release our ebook.
Right. But no, it's, man, our stories thus far have a celebrity-based bent. We act like idiots around celebrities.
Celebrities for sure. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else I've done. I mean, there definitely was a Planet Comic-Con where we showed up and we got together with our friend Robin, who, again, pseudo-celebrity. Robin was in the guild.
Oh, yeah.
That girl is a drinker. And I had not eaten dinner. And so I wasn't trying to keep up with her in any way, shape, or form, but we started drinking, and then the bar was closing down, and it was a hotel bar, and it was a sort of scenario where, like, everyone was, like, they were going to take your drink away from you.
Oh, wow.
Everyone was sucking dicks. No, they were going to take your drink away from you if you didn't finish it. And so I wound up, like, really, we were trying to pass around the alcohol and just finish it so as not to waste it. And I wound up throwing back, like, a double shot of, like, straight alcohol.
That was unwise.
Yeah, it was a really bad idea. I think I would have been okay if I just hadn't taken that one. I think I would have been okay, but that with the empty stomach, I was vomiting for the rest of the night. It was like 4 times. It was really bad. And then I had to get up in Damsel in the morning. So that was rough. I also told the Baldwin that plays Jane.
Adam
Baldwin. I told Adam Baldwin that I wanted to punch a baby. And he definitely visibly was like, okay, and like turned and started talking to the person next to them. But he's like a severe right-wing asshole, so I wasn't too upset about freaking him out. I was actually kind of proud of that one.
He probably thinks, you know, you're just some left-wing pro-choicer whose preferred method of baby murder in the womb is to punch them.
I mean, he's not wrong, though. So,
that definitely will mash it up.
Also, how have you
for eating?
How have you not heard that expression at some point? Like, that shouldn't be a...
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. I can't believe you said...
I literally was talking about a baby.
Oh, a specific baby?
Yeah, we were talking about someone had their kid in the back of a panel room, and the kid was screaming through the whole panel.
Ah, okay.
And they did not take them out. And I was like, I've never wanted to punch a baby until today, but I wanted to punch that fucking baby. And he was like, Jesus, okay.
You know, I think that's kind of entered into the vernacular as well, or expressions like, would somebody murder that thing, or that kind of, when somebody has a baby in a panel room that's crying and won't take it out of the fucking panel room. Like, seriously, leave the goddamn panel room.
I agree. Like, just that's what you do with a baby, period. End of story. If you're in a restaurant or a convention or really insert venue here, if your baby starts crying, you get up and you take them out. Like, that's just how it works. But this person didn't. So.
Yep.
So you were offering to take it out for them.
Literally.
By out of, like, the gene pool.
Yeah.
How about you, Amanda?
Yeah. I don't do stupid things. I mean, like, there was this one time that I brought a bunch of VIP badges with me and then somehow lost them in the lining of my suitcase. Bringing them back home with me and found them after the convention was over. But that's not really on par. Yeah. So,
I do remember one instance of a stupid thing you've done. When that Jack Sparrow asked you how long you've been walking, you did not respond with take me now. That was dumb.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That was pretty dumb.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
I do regret that almost every day.
That same weekend, though. And this wasn't something that, like, something stupid that you did and is on you, but the Ambien and Alcon story is pretty great.
Yeah, that's amazeballs.
Well, and I considered that one, but it's like, I mean, for one, yeah, I've told the story before, but also, like, it's just an unfortunate thing that happened. It was, but not
it wasn't
really
actually something stupid.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it counts. It is hilarious, though. That it's just going into ebook.
That's true. We really need to write this ebook.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about it some more.
Okay, that's a good plan. I like that. So we've got some pretty good stuff going on in the chat. Shuclane, exclamation point. Oh, hi, Michael. Got drunk with Christopher from Greater Than Games at his first Gen Con and ended up throwing up in a parking deck and then sobered up the next day sitting next to a homeless guy on a bench. That's pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome.
John Latch made a complete ass of himself in front of Patricia Tallman. Oh man, it's like we're doing the end credits. But you know, Patricia Tallman is very awesome. Babylon Farm. So yeah. Aaron Colston asked out the wrestler Lita in Chicago Wizard World. I can't fault you for that.
Rissy, when are we gonna make you realize that Aaron Colston is Elvis?
Oh, I know that. I just
don't call him Aaron Colston. He doesn't go by that name.
Well, what if he doesn't want people associating the names online when we're talking aloud and not just with our minds? I don't know.
You know the name he prefers. Use it.
Okay. Don't want to dead name anyone. But yes.
God.
Elvis asked out the wrestler Lita at Chicago Wizard World. And again, I can't fault you whatsoever. She is very awesome.
I mean, you gotta try as long as you're ready to take that rejection like a man.
Yep.
But when, if you're gonna ask some ladies out, especially famous or semi-famous ones, you gotta be ready to be like, cool, thanks, and walk away when they say no.
Oh my God, Marianne tried
after you call him a bitch, right?
I mean, obviously,
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
A frigid cock tease. Marianne tried to do the work with a broken toe and ended up walking the entire 5K barefoot. Where did your shoes go?
I presume they were
probably hurt too much.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Why don't you just
It probably hurt less with the,
I assumed that the orcs had eaten them.
That is crazy town.
I mean, that's also a possibility.
Who's an orc?
I have a girlfriend who's a marathon runner, and she stopped in the middle of a marathon in Chicago, I think, recently. And she had internal bleeding, so it was apparently a good thing she stopped because she would have died if she hadn't. So I don't understand why people do this running things. Just stop it, you guys. Just stop.
So I did a half marathon, and that was bad enough. That gave me a serious appreciation for people who do the full thing, because I'm like, Jesus Christ, this was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Like who could do two of these? One right after the other.
Lots of people, actually.
I've said it before, and I will say it again. Never forget that the first person to run a marathon immediately died.
Yeah, that is true.
So yeah, know your limits.
Jesus Christ, that's gross.
Yep. Old Fidibadies, pour one out, homie.
If you are listening to this later, or you just want to get into the chat on Twitter, definitely tweet at us. Tell us the dumbest thing you've ever done at a convention, and use the hashtag Dork Pride Chat. We want to hear what dumb shit you've done.
Yes, the dumbest of shit, please.
Please.
Shovel all your dumb shit right in our mouths.
Right in our mouths.
We're gonna eat it all up.
We'll get big old funnels.
Just Amanda, you're not funneling.
I'm not playing this game. No.
Party pooper.
Because Blythe will just turn it into a GIF later.
That's
Amanda, we need more gifts of you.
Okay.
Not even on the camera. God damn it. Next time.
I know. I'm very tiny down at the bottom. Yeah.
Next time, Gadget. Next time.
Indeed. But for now, I do believe that is going to do it for this episode of the Dork Pridecast. Of course, as always, we want to give a big thank you to Sarah Donner for allowing us to use music off of her latest album, Black Hole Heart.
You can find the Damsels of Dorkington on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. You know how to find us. Just search us. You can also join our Facebook group by searching Dork Pride Worldwide.
Check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Damsels of Dorkington, where besides becoming one of our favorite people, you can also get access to rewards that are only available there, such as being on the list of super awesome patrons that we thank at the end of the podcast. Like these people. For example, John Haight, who once memorably was not George R.R. Martin, but dressed up as him and attended a bunch of room parties in an effort to get accolades for being George R.R. Martin. Or the grim example of Mary Henderson, who drank so much at Con on the Cob. That's a real thing. I didn't.
That is. I love that con.
It's a real thing. Con, who drank so much at Con on the Cob that someone accidentally cut her hand and flames erupted. That's how much alcohol she had in her bloodstream. Or Joshua Griffiths, oh alas, poor Joshua, who was horrifyingly killed, and his estate currently donates to us, when he was horrifyingly killed when he asked out the lovely Armin Shimmerman, portrayer of Quark, at a convention somewhere in Ohio, and died of heartbreak when he was rejected.
Was that before or after he and Mary got together? I'm just curious.
I like to think of them as a couple of liches. So we'll say,
yes.
Yeah, before.
Great.
Yeah. Yep. And never forget the cautionary tale of Richard Hirsch, who once thought it would be a great idea to make his cosplay of Hawkgirl so accurate that he attempted to finagle a hang glider into the overall mechanics and launch himself from the Capitol Dome in Indianapolis. Did not go well. And Josh and Jessica Rowell, who were in another cosplay-related accident, were cosplaying as the Thundercats, and unfortunately got into an argument somewhere, and animal control was called on them, and they were knitted and placed in a zoo. And last but not least, Sean Palmer, who did not accuse one author of being a chronic masturbator. He accused Robert Heinlein of being a chronic masturbator when Heinlein was accepting a Hugo Award in the middle of it. Yep, that's Sean Palmer for you. Classic Sean, my God. Yeah.
Vintage
Sean.
Wow. All right. We would also like to thank Travis and Wendy Mays, who got caught in flagrante at a convention in this tiny town in Alabama.
We would also like to thank Aaron Felsen, who had the cops called on him when he was trying to use a camera on his shoe to look up the skirts of people in cosplay, and it wasn't appreciated.
We would also like to thank John Kozlowski, who received a lot of rejection. He just went, this was actually a Gen Con. He just went around the con proposing to various women and getting turned down repeatedly until he finally, he found one that said yes, but it was really embarrassing up until he found that one weirdo who said yes. So
a complete crazy weirdo.
It just super, it was awkward
actually,
for a while.
She's not even really human, as far as I know.
I mean, she is an interesting term, so,
Yes, yeah.
Mm.
But thank you, anyway.
Yeah, right. We'd also like to thank Carl Murray, who thought it would be a good idea to eat all the leftover food that was left on the table after some other people had come through and got a little sick from it.
Oh, this was in our Patreon
it
party.
A lot.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, thank you to Marion Polinkin, who he lives overseas, but he was coming to a convention here, but he got in a lot of delayed flights, and so it was like Sunday and the convention was already ending, so he was like, well, I'm gonna pregame so I can show up ready to go, and he just misjudged and he got real drunk and he showed up to the con and he threw up all over Ricky Lakoti. She's a cosplayer. Don't worry about it.
We'd also like to thank Greg Milliken, who thought he was being nice when he offered some nice people or some people that he saw at the airport a ride to the convention because he heard them talking about it. And then they ended up being murderers and they murdered him.
That was dumb.
It was pretty stupid.
Yeah.
All right, Greg.
Thanks to your
We've killed off a lot of our patrons so far. Sorry, guys.
Thank you to John Latch, who keeps getting married to the same woman repeatedly at conventions. I don't know why you'd keep doing that. Stop it. It's not true. It's true, but it's not true. Marry someone else, Jesus. Just kidding. I love you, John.
We'd also like to thank Alec Teller, who did another dumb thing. Like, I feel like I made it further than I usually make it before just completely crapping out.
I love it. Honestly, I love it. It's fine. Stop doing dumb shit, Alec. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, really. It was real dumb, but he actually asked me not to talk about it, so I respect his wishes.
Oh, it's very kind of you.
That's really nice of you. Yeah, you're a good person. Thank you to Justin Mansfield, who approached a famous person whose character spoke in Latin, and he tried to address him in Latin, but the actor was like, bitch, nobody actually speaks Latin. I don't fucking know what you're saying. And he had to leave the convention with his tail between his legs.
Also, growing a tail would be pretty embarrassing.
I don't know. I'd be kind of excited.
Depends on the tail.
We'd also like to thank Gordon Nelson, who saw the whole thing with Justin Mansfield happen and was like, I would really like to grow a tail, and then just sat in the corner of the convention hall for the rest of the weekend trying to will a tail into existence and failed. A lot of his time. He spent a lot of money on those tickets, and then
thank you to Jason Vickery, who needed to change clothes at a convention, and so he ducked behind a curtain, but it turned out it was a curtain for a window, and he changed clothes while lots of people watched him, and it was really embarrassing. And he died of shame inside. He's still alive, but on the inside he's dead.
I thought you were about to say, it turns out all the people were Maenads and were so overcome with lust that they dismembered him. Brogma! Woo!
Nope, was not going to say that.
Actually, that is what happened to Carlos Macera.
Oh, yikes!
Yeah, it was a really similar situation, but it did end his dismemberment, which was unfortunate. It made a big mess, and so his ghost was charged for the cleanup. It was really
that's rough.
Kind of a double hit event. It was real bad.
Well, thank you to Jason Sanchez, who, this is so embarrassing. He approached PJ Soups and tried to proposition him, but PJ Soups tugged on the leash he was holding, and he was like, bitch, I like women. And Jason was like, oh, God damn it. And he had to leave the convention also of embarrassment.
We'd like to thank William Priest, who thought it would be a good idea to go out and eat Chili's the night before the convention started. And
why would you do that?
Oh, I know. You went straight to the black and foamies.
Yeah, just the whole weekend. It was really unfortunate, and it made it pretty miserable. So,
Also, a final thank you to Adam Rowe, who actually went out for sushi, and not Chili's, but he went out for sushi before the convention, and had some bad roe, actually. And then he blew up the bathroom. So it was rough. You could see those lines coming out of the bathroom. It was gross. Sorry to shame you like this, Adam. We still love you.
We do love you.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people's embarrassing stories involve pooping or dying.
Right.
Apparently.
Well, and since everyone poops when they die.
They're all poop stories, I guess.
Yeah,
pretty much. I mean,
poop stories. Also, the archaic Latin term for tail is penis.
Okay. That's all. Thanks for joining us, everyone. This has been episode 64 of the Dork Pridecast. We will see you all next week.
Deuces!
Jetpack. Pew. Pew.